We are about, what, 2.5 miles now into Sabino Canyon. And they don't grow their first little finger until they're about 75 years old. Okay, our next stop is the San Javier Mission. Well, bye. Hey, how are you? This is definitely a spot that you want to come check out. If you're a fan of the desert Southwest like I am, I don't know really how you beat this place, but bye-bye now. We are on our way for our Christmas break down in Tucson, Arizona. It's gonna be a great trip. We're gonna be down there for about a week, see a bunch of stuff, do a bunch of things, and we're looking forward to it. Say bye-bye. Well, we made it to Tucson. And our first stop, or I should say our first event we're doing while we're here is we have stopped at Sabino Canyon, which is on the northeast side of Tucson. Now we went down to the main parking lot and it is 100% full. So we had to drive up the road about a half a mile to the overflow parking lot here. So we may or may not get down to the main parking lot and show you how that's arranged, but up here at the main parking lot, or I'm sorry, the overflow parking lot, there is it is a fee area. It's a day use area, so it's $8 per day or $10 for the week. You can either fill out the envelope here and put cash, or there is also the option to scan with your cell phone, and you can pay that way too. But so anyways, yeah, the northeast side of Tucson here. It's backed up against the foothill mountains here, and we're going to take a hike up to Sabino, up to the top of Sabino Canyon. It is about a 3.7 mile walk from here to the top. There is a tram. The tram costs $15 per person, or if you get to the top and you want to ride it down, it's an $8 fee to ride this tram down. And there are several different stops along the way. I have not been here before, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's a beautiful day. Here it is December 27th, and it's about 60 degrees out. The sky is clear as a bell, and it's really, really beautiful out here. Tons of saguaro cactuses, prickly pears, you know, you name it, as far as the desert vegetation goes is out here. So anyways, it should be a great morning. Yeah, it's really amazing just the stuff that's out here. You know, you have the prickly pear cactus here, ocotillos, and ocotillos, if you're not familiar with them, they are wicked little trees. So, you know, they have these the branches here, but each one of them has some serious spines on them or thorns, and it is a really mean tree if you ever run into one, which I hate to say it, but I have, and it is a painful experience. They're really awesome, but not to be messed with.
Sabino Canyon is located at the base of the San Catalina Mountains and offers something for everyone. The canyon is home to several different species of wildlife, including bobcats and even the famous Gila monster if you're lucky enough to see one. But if you do see one, remember they are poisonous and should definitely be avoided. The paved road runs 3.7 miles to the top of the canyon, where you can find many miles of dirt trails. The canyon has more than 30 miles of hiking trails throughout.
So, a little something that I found out is that these, what are these things called? The saguaro cactuses. They live to be about 200 years old. And the little fingers you see that come off of them, they don't grow their first little finger until they're about 75 years old. So if you see an ocotillo like that one there that has no fingers, it's a young one. So 75 years until they develop their first little arm off of the tree. And again, they live to be about 200 years old, and the tall ones get to be about 40 feet.
Sabino Canyon is one of the few areas in Tucson where you can find a running creek throughout the year due to its proximity to Mount Lemmon to the northwest. Temperatures in the canyon during the summer routinely exceed 100 degrees, so make sure that you have plenty of water with you before you leave the parking lot. As a side note, if you want to ride your bike in the canyon, that activity is limited to after 5 p.m. only, but check the website for any updates before you head up that way.
So far we've seen, oh man, all sorts of cactuses, saguaros, ocotillos, prickly pears, all the desert life, and there's lots of trees, aspens and stuff down here. And the entire canyon follows the river. So there's lots of spots to stop and enjoy the water and stuff like that. It's really a beautiful area out here. Oh!
When you get to the top of the canyon, you're treated with the Sabino waterfall. And it may only be about 2 feet tall, but hey, you're in the middle of the desert, so that's still a pretty cool sight.
What a wonderful day.
I don't know her.
Plenty of sunshine.
I just met her today.
Before we can go. Okay. And now we can continue.
Just got done with the hike. It was really a great hike. According to the guy that runs the shuttle operations, it's 3.7 miles from here to the final trolley stop. So, you know, we did about 6.5 miles, almost 7 miles, roughly. And it was a great hike. If you're in the area out here in eastern Tucson, it really is a great place to come and do some hiking. Again, it's $8 to park for the day, $10 for a week-long pass, so that's pretty good. And it's free to walk into the park. And then I think it's $15 for the tram all the way up to the top, and then $8 if you want to grab it from the top and just ride back. So it was really a great hike. Okay, our next stop is the San Javier Mission in southern Tucson. This mission was started in 1783, I believe, and completed in 1797. This is the oldest European-built building in Arizona. Still active today. There's been several different restoration projects over the years to keep this building looking the way that it does. It is still today used as a school for they just opened it back up to kindergarten through 2nd grade. Let's go inside and check it out.
The San Javier Mission is a National Historic Landmark founded as a Catholic mission in 1692 by Father Xavier Del Bac. Construction of the church you see here today was begun in 1783 and completed in 1797. It is the oldest European structure in Arizona. The inside of the church is filled with original statuary and mural paintings. The church maintains its original mission today, providing ministry for the local communities. All are welcome to attend Mass, but at times there are so many people that it is standing room only. The mission is located just 9 miles south of downtown Tucson and is easy to get to and well worth the trip. Roughly 200,000 people visit the church each year. There's no admission fee, and the church is considered to be one of the finest examples of Spanish colonial architecture in the United States. The current church dates from the late 1700s when southern Arizona was part of New Spain. In 1783, Franciscan missionary Father Juan Bautista Valderrain was able to begin construction on the present structure using money borrowed from a Sonoran rancher. He hired an architect, Ignacio Guana, and a large workforce of folks to create the present church. Following Mexican independence in 1821, San Javier became part of Mexico. The last resident Franciscan of the 19th century departed in 1837. With the Gadsden Purchase of 1854, the mission joined the United States. In 1859, San Javier became part of the Diocese of Santa Fe. In 1866, Tucson became an incipient diocese and regular services were held at the mission once again. Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet opened a school at the mission in 1872, and the Franciscan Sisters of Christian Charity now teach at the school and reside in the convent. If you want to learn more about the San Javier mission, you can go to sanjavier.org and read all about it.
Well, bye.
Our next stop was Tombstone, famous of course for being where the legendary Wyatt Earp and friends had an infamous gunfight with the cowboys at the OK Corral. Tombstone is located about 80 miles southeast of Tucson, and the drive there is exceptional, taking you across fantastic desert roads and through a few really neat small towns along the way. While Tombstone is known for being a tourist town and thought of by most as kind of like an amusement park attraction, the town actually has a population of roughly 1,300 people, although really it's mostly just a tourist attraction. Of note, the Oriental Gambling Hall, where Wyatt Earp and his brothers had a stake in a faro table, is billed as being the original building and even has an original piano inside. I'm not sure if it's the piano that Doc Holliday played, but hey, it's still pretty cool. Speaking of Doc Holliday, for those who aren't aware, the hugely popular line in the movie where Doc says to Johnny Ringo, "I'm your huckleberry," is actually widely misquoted. The actual quote that Doc Holliday would have used is, "I'm your huck bearer." A huck was a handle on the side of a casket that was used by the casket bearers to carry it. So essentially what Doc was implying was that he would send Ringo to his grave, by way of a casket, of course.
So I'm standing outside of the Oriental Saloon, and if you remember from the movie, this is where Wyatt Earp got into it with Johnny Tyler at the faro card table, and ended up getting him and his brothers a piece of the action here at the Oriental Saloon. And behind me here is the Birdcage Theater, which was where the local entertainment in town was to be had. If you remember from the movie also, this is where Wyatt Earp's future wife and that other guy, they did the play about Faust. And it's also where Kennedy was assassinated. Just kidding.
At least I'm pretty sure he did.
Next on the list was Bisbee. Bisbee is about 30 miles from Tombstone, or 100 miles from Tucson if you're coming from that direction.
I just got a great little video with it too.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, good.
In 1877, a reconnaissance detail of U.S. Army scouts and cavalrymen was sent to the Mule Mountains to search the area for renegade Apaches. However, Jack Dunn, a civilian tracker attached to the detail, found signs of mineralization indicating the presence of lead, copper, and possibly silver. Eventually, Bisbee became a hugely prosperous mining town, with the Queen Mine being one of the largest copper mines in the entire country, producing over 8 billion tons of copper. By the early 1900s, Bisbee had become the largest city in Arizona, with a population of more than 20,000 people. Though not nearly as large today, it is still home to what is arguably the oldest ball field in the country, and it is the site of the first golf course ever built in Arizona, named Turquoise Valley, but it is now an RV park. If you go to Bisbee, don't miss out on the Queen Mine tour, and be sure to stop in at the Bisbee Mining and Historical Museum, located right in the middle of town.
So as you can see, Bisbee is very definitely an artsy kind of place. If you're into that scene, this is definitely a spot that you want to come check out. They've got every form of art, Native American, hippie art, whatever you want, they've got it here. Very eclectic kind of place down here. But yeah, really neat place to hang out. So here in Bisbee, my favorite attraction is the John Quill Motel, owned by Eva Rupert and Sterling Norin. And if you're in the moto world, then you know who they are.
I have 2 bikes getting all dialed in, ready to rock and roll.
What's up, you guys?
This is Eva, and she's the co-owner of the John Quill Motel here in Bisbee. If you are in town, you definitely want to stay here. It is the coolest place there is in all of Bisbee, maybe in all of Arizona, right?
Pretty much all of the universe.
All of the whole world.
The John Quill Motel was built in 1937 by a fellow by the name of, you guessed it, John Quill. At the time, it was a service station with his house attached at the western end of the property. But back in the 1930s, Route 80, which runs through Bisbee, was a major part of the golden era of the American road trip. Quill saw an opportunity to provide a fantastic stopping place for those weary travelers passing through the vast open space of the desert Southwest, and converted the gas station you see here into a spectacular motel. My friends Sterling Norin and Eva Rupert purchased the John Quill several years back and continue to provide travelers with an incredibly unique opportunity to go back in time to the luxurious era of American travel. The rooms look exactly like one would imagine a room in the early 20th century would look like, and the entire grounds has a comfortable and inviting feel to it. During the spring and fall months, you will almost certainly find some sort of motorcycling event being hosted at the John Quill, and riders from all across the country consider it a must-stop destination when in the area.
The really cool thing about Bisbee is the architecture. A lot of these buildings are the original buildings from back in the day. And see here you have the I think this is the I don't remember what it's called, the Commerce Building, I believe. I'll check it and make sure I correct it on the video if it's not. But and the architecture is just so neat here, and you can see that the town is built into the side of the mountain, basically. And Bisbee is at 5,500 feet. So in the summertime, it is much cooler than Phoenix area. It's about, on average, 20 degrees cooler than Phoenix. And at night, whereas, down in the Phoenix area, it's still hot as heck at night. Here, it's very comfortable at night. And it's just a really neat little town. So this is just a random alley here in Bisbee. You just walk down. It's going from one place to another, but all of these paintings on the wall here. Here we have the surgery room, whatever that means. And here's some strange lady that's just taking pictures in the alleyway. I don't know what her deal is, but she looks kind of sketchy, a little suspect, I think. Never can tell these days, though. And this is the world famous grassy park. If you haven't heard of it, I don't know what to tell you.
The last stop on our trip was Saguaro National Park, which spans 92,000 acres on both the west and east sides of Tucson. There are 2 visitor centers that provide an abundance of information about the park. The park has over 165 miles of hiking trails, as well as sightseeing along paved roads near the visitor centers. You can also bicycle and horseback ride on selected roads and trails in the national park. If you plan to camp in the park, be aware that there is no camping in the Tucson Mountain District, but there is limited camping in the Rincon Mountain District. The desert Southwest is the only region in the world where the saguaro cactus grows naturally, and the park was created to preserve the cactus and ensure that they remain in the region for years to come. Temperatures in June and July are routinely over 100 degrees, so if you plan to go during these months, plan accordingly and be sure to bring plenty of water and sunscreen. Wildlife in the park include, but not limited to, cougars, coyotes, bobcats, deer, javelina, gray foxes, and jackrabbits, to name a few. You can also see great horned owls, kestrels, roadrunners, woodpeckers, and hawks, along with many other types of birds in the park.
So the really great thing about Saguaro National Park, or just, where the saguaros are in general, the national park really has nothing to do with it. It just happens to be an area designated to protect the environment, right? But the great thing about where the saguaros grow is, I think a lot of people have this vision in their head of this flat, deserty, kind of sandy place, but really, look at all of the hills. There's lots of hills, lots of hickory, mesquite trees, all sorts of vegetation, and the cactuses are kind of stuck all along the hills here, and it just makes for, just a fantastic place to come and visit. It is really beautiful out here. If you're a fan of the desert Southwest like I am, I don't know really how you beat this place, but let's take a walk around and just kind of see some of the landscape out here. Okay guys, well that about does it for this video. There is just a ton of things to see and do within close proximity of the Tucson area, and I tried to highlight a few of the really cool ones for you. I hope that you liked the video. If you did, please give me a great big thumbs up, and if you consider subscribing to the channel for me, that would just mean the world to me. I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I'm thinking that maybe I might want to make this a full-time job, and your clicks and subscriptions really help get me into that YouTube algorithm and help me grow this channel, and I very much appreciate it. So once again, hope you enjoyed the video, and I really hope to see you guys out on the road one day.